Good morning, everyone, and welcome to your weekend contemplation. So, our weekend contemplation for this weekend was actually brought to us by a car commercial, as funny as it sounds. So, basically, this car commercial just said, Christmas comes but once a year. So, come on in and get your deals. And that really just started me thinking and becoming inspired by spirit, and Spirit had me start thinking, recognize and realize how much we limit our own joy and happiness to really only special occasions, like, for instance, right now during holidays, or maybe just for your birthday. You're like, oh, you know what? I can really treat myself because it's my birthday. Or other special occasions for like baby showers and stuff like that. We can only really be really happy and really joyful and really celebrate life during those special occasions. But what if we started to shift that narrative? What if we started to think about it differently? What if we started to allow joy to infuse our everyday lives? Or even if you can't get to joy, maybe just happiness, maybe just contentment. What if you allowed that to be your new approach? Instead of the same old energy of like, okay, I'm getting up, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and just kind of going through the motions, what if you started to celebrate that? And when we talk about, celebrating life or being joyful or being happy, this doesn't mean that we're forgetting our responsibilities. It doesn't mean that we're forgetting about work, but instead, I want you to consider, like right now, during this holiday season, when you have your interactions at work or when you have interactions with family, I want you to notice how you maybe infuse a little bit more happiness. You smile a little bit more. You're infusing more joy into every interaction. And, maybe if you have Secret Santa, you're really out there looking at how can I bring a little smile to this person's face as you're looking for that gift. And we don't have to just reserve that for the holiday season. We can infuse that type of energy. We can still continue to smile. We can still continue to think of how can I bring a little bit more joy or a little bit more happiness into this person's life or into my own life, into my own experience. And, once you start doing that, once you start looking for joy or looking for ways to infuse more joy and happiness into your life, this is where the magic starts to happen because the universe is noticing that you are focusing on joy, on happiness, on gratitude, on contentment. And the universe wants you to be nothing more than happy. And so it says, oh, wow, you're focused on joy and happiness. Well, you know what? Let me give you more opportunities to be more joyful. Why? Because that's where your focus is. That's where your attention is. Your focus and attention aren't on, you know, old stories of the past or, worries about the future. It's on the here and now present moment on how can I bring a smile to my own face or how can I bring a smile to others' face? How can I be in this sense of gratitude in this here and now? How can I celebrate this moment? And you don't have to, it doesn't have to be something big like a baby shower or Christmas or Hanukkah. It can simply be, you know what? I can celebrate that this moment I got out of bed. Like that can be a celebration. That can be something you can smile about and be like, you know what? This morning I woke up. This morning I opened my eyes. Oh my gosh, what a blessing that, I got to sleep all through the night. Just looking at it that way. And then you start to see how the message of Abraham of life is meant to be fun really starts to come into play because again, the universe, you start playing with the universe and the universe starts playing with you because you're playing in happiness and joy. And then this brings us to our other message of You can learn through joy. That's something A Course in Miracles teaches is you can learn through joy. Now, this doesn't mean that you're not still going to have triggers or challenging moments or opportunities for growth, but it does mean that those things are going to lose their edges. They're not going to be as sharp. They're not going to be as cutting. Why? Because they are dulled by your happiness and your joy, your focus on that. Now, this doesn't mean that we ignore what we're feeling. It doesn't mean that if a trigger comes up, we just ignore it. It means that we engage with it, we acknowledge it, and then we pivot ourselves to gratitude or to joy. Wow, even though this thing came up after, we have kind of gone through it in whatever way, we've felt what we needed to feel, we can then go into this gratitude of, thank you, universe, for showing me where I still am carrying some rocks in my pocket, where I'm still handling some junk in the trunk. Thank you for this. And being in that attitude of gratitude, thank you for showing me that this is still in my narrative and that I can begin to release it, that I can let it go, and that I can forgive myself and regain my lightness of being. Like, do you see the difference? And that's what's so beautiful. And that's what has me just feeling so amazing is having that mindset, choosing, yes, I still get triggered just like everybody else. I still have moments where, things get to me, challenging moments, or what seem to be challenging to me. And what I've begun to do is, yes, I feel it, I acknowledge it. And then for me, I say, thank you, universe, for showing me, the rock, the judgments that I'm still carrying, or the narratives that I'm still carrying. And I forgive myself for that. And I'm forgiving myself not because I've done something wrong, but because I am asking spirit to undo my misperception. That's all forgiveness is. If you want to think of it that way, it's just undoing your misperception. And that's how we can start to learn through joy instead of through pain and suffering. Our lessons or our triggers become less jagged, they become less sharp. They don't puncture us as deeply because we're realizing, okay, I see this, I acknowledge it, I forgive myself, and I can return to my lightness of being. I can return to celebrating life in its infinite beauty and in its infinite beauty. And so, but how can we really start this? Because believe you me, I did not go from 0 to 100. Did I try to? Yes, I did. And it didn't work. And that's okay. And that's why I'm here to kind of give you some tips that you can use for, infusing this starting this weekend. I mean, how great would it be to start entering 2025 focused on happiness, focused on joy? And again, that doesn't mean we ignore our responsibilities. It doesn't mean we ignore work. It doesn't mean we ignore what's going on in the world. It just means that we are coming at it from a different mindset and a different perspective. When we come from happiness and joy, we are solution oriented. But when we're coming from, the same old energy, okay, now I gotta figure this out. Now I gotta figure that out. Instead, now we are in joyful co-creation with the divine instead of thinking it's all up to us to figure everything out. And doesn't that feel a lot better? Knowing that we can be in joyful co creation, in joyful solution orientation. So, how can we start this? How can we start this process of infusing joy into all of our interactions, into our lives? And number one was what I already stated, celebrating the small little wins. It doesn't have to be something big. Start small. It's okay to start small. Don't be like me and try to go from 0 to 100 because guess what? Probably the same thing that happened to me is going to happen to you. You're going to trip. And then you're going to be like, you know what? It's just not worth it. So start small. Celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small things. Be grateful for those wins in whatever way. And that's going to lead us to our second tool or tip. Start a gratitude journal or a gratitude note on your phone, but just start. And it doesn't have to be, giant things that you're grateful for. I mean, believe you me, those giant things will come. The more you're grateful, the more things you're going to start seeing you can be grateful for. But start small. Start a little gratitude journal, a little gratitude note in your phone, or little gratitude memos, whatever it is that's going to work for you. And again, doesn't have to be big. It can just be one thing you're grateful for. And you can start one thing I'm grateful for each and every day. And each and every day for the next 7 days, it has to be something different that you're grateful for. And here's what you're going to notice, because you may think, oh, that's going to be really hard. It's actually not. But once you start focusing, you're going to notice that one thing turns in, you can be like, well, I'm actually grateful for, this too. And you're going to start noticing that and you're going to start writing that down. But just for this week, why not just for this weekend going into next week, start with just one thing each day that you're grateful for. Just write it down, feel that gratitude, remember how you felt, allow yourself to feel it. Okay. And allow yourself to savor it. I think all too often that's something else that we don't realize is we don't savor the gratitude or the happiness or the joy. We just kind of like, okay, well, one and done. Remember, joy and happiness and gratitude, they're not a limited supply. It's not limited. There is no limit to it. You can have it, it's infinite, infinite happiness, infinite joy, infinite gratitude. It's at your fingertips. Our third thing our third tool or tip that we can use to start infusing more joy into our lives is a simple one. And that's simply going to the mirror and smiling, and like really smiling. And this is going to sound super weird, but I want you to try this. Okay. And so what we're going to do, see, I gotta calm my own face down, is I want you just to relax your face to the best of your, just relax all your muscles, relax your eyes, just relax it all. Okay. Then I want you to smile, but I want you to really see if you can like dimple, if you will, or put like little creases on both sides of your face. So really big. And, start smiling with your eyes as well. Look at yourself in the mirror and really smile that way. I want you to go from completely relaxed face to a smile. And like, I want you just to notice. I mean, for me, it just brings a smile to my face. It brings me a lot of joy. And it's because we're going from nothing, basically emotionless, if you will, to full of emotion. And like, doesn't that just feel good just to see yourself smile, to look into your own eyes and smile? That's just another simple way to bring in joy. And here's what you're also going to notice. You might start smiling at other people and they're going to start smiling back at you. And you know what? You've just infused that person with more joy. And here's the beauty, at least this is what A Course in Miracles says. An idea does not leave its source. So as you smile and are spreading joy, what you're really doing is you're infusing that into everyone you see. It's kind of this idea of a wave, and it's never really leaving you. It's simply extending from you. Okay. And I want you to kind of see it that way. Your smile, your joy, your happiness is extending to other people. And they can choose, because free will, they can choose to take that up or not. And it will just wash over them. And that's fine. But if they choose to take it up, that wave gets bigger. And then as they're, extending that joy, it gets bigger and it gets bigger. And that's why things start coming back to you. That happiness and joy that you're putting out is going to come back to you, because the idea never leaves its source. It extends. And it's always extending, and it's going to extend back to you, but it's going to be even stronger than when you put it out there. And again, isn't that something to celebrate? Like, wow, I have this beautiful ability to extend my joy and happiness so much that it becomes a wave that doesn't only inspire others, but comes back and inspires me. Like, isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? So, those are just some tips that you can use to assist you in infusing more joy into your life. Remember, number one, celebrate the little wins. Number two, create a gratitude journal. And for this week, start with writing down one thing you're grateful for. And one of the simplest ones that you can do, completely relax your face to the best of your ability. Look directly into your own eyes and give yourself a big smile. And then, of course, our third thing is, our fourth thing, extend that joy and happiness. Know that it is a limitless resource that is constantly coming to you and through you. Why? Because you're focused on it. You're focused on bringing it into your experience on a consistent basis. And so you're extending it outwards. So I thank you for joining me. I thank you for being here. And I'll talk with you soon. Bye for now.